Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Geomatics. In today's lecture, we all know we are covering the new syllabus for PGDGI, and in today's lecture, we are going to learn about this unit 11, understanding map. So this lecture is also part of this block 3 unit, basic of mapping. So what we will learn from this lecture, we will be able to define a map, how to classify maps and outline their elements. We will discuss the significance of map having different scales. We will compare various maps. We will select an appropriate map for its purpose, and we will also identify whether a map is good or bad. So first off, we will start from what is a map. Here is image of world map. So map simplified graphical representation. Like our globe or earth in a 3D sphere and take any of the area of whole earth and present it on a 2 paper. 2D representation of globes called map, where we can represent all or part of the earth's surface and its features drawn on a plane surface to a full scale. In a map, the real world features have been replaced by symbols, signs, shades and colors. In a map, for easy representation and understanding, we represent the earth by different kind of symbols, signs, shades and different colors. Maps are basically based on 2 types. So first type is based on scale and second type is based on function. Based on scale, there are 2 types of maps, large scale map and small scale map. And based on functioning, it is also classified into 2 parts, physical, natural maps and cultural maps. So one by one we will discuss about these 2 types. So according to scale, as it is classified into 2 parts, large scale map and small scale map. So what is large scale map? Large scale map is like when you zoom in on any area on Earth's surface, where a map shows a smaller area with detailed information. Like large scale map represents smaller area with detailed information. Like the large scale map, you will be able to identify certain building location on a certain road. It will be detailed map. The name is just opposite, large scale map, but it represents a small area. So used geological survey maps are drawn at a scale of 1:62,500. The Canadian Center for Topographic Information maps at a scale of 1:30,000 and Survey of India maps at a scale of 1:25,000. These are few examples of large scale map. Large scale map is also classified into 2 parts, cadastral map and topographic map. So what is cadastral map? So this term cadastral, this is derived from a French word cadastre. So this means that register of property or related to land. So cadastral maps are a very large scale map because these are represented at a scales like 1:3950 or 1:1900 or even more. If you're getting confused between large scale and small scale, this is like for example, let me write. So here I have write 2 examples of scale. One is 1:100 and another is 1:1000. So if I ask you that which one is a large scale and which one is a small scale, most of the people will say that this number is having large number and it is large scale, but no, this is opposite. 1:100 means, like for example, 1 meter is to 100 meters. So 100 meter on a ground, we are representing 1 meter on a map, and in the second scale, 1000 meter on the ground, which is a large area. So 1000 meter on ground, we will represent map as 1 meter. So this is represent larger area. So when large area representation is there, it will known as small scale, and when small area representation is there, then it will known as large scale. And the cadastral maps are large scale maps. These maps are used to show the ownership of land properties by demarcating the boundaries of agricultural fields and buildings. Like here in the image, you can see that there are multiple blocks made up here which represent the boundary of land property. So these are known as cadastral maps. Cadastral maps are prepared and compiled by government agencies, and these are used for revenue and taxation purposes. Village maps prepared by Patwari may be put under this type. Some cases there are village maps available by Patwari, that is also a detailed map of the village where the land parcel will have a boundary. So that will also fall under the cadastral map. Next is topographical maps. So topographical maps are also drawn on a fairly large scale, but their scale is relatively smaller than cadastral maps. Topographical maps are also a type of large scale map, but the scale is small than cadastral maps. These maps are based on precise topographical survey and are published in the form series of maps by the National Mapping Agency. These topographic maps are available at different scales, like 1:250,000, 1:50,000, 1:25,000. So you compare this scale, like 1:3,900, 1:3,900. This scale number is looking small. This is a type of cadastral map scale, and here this number scale of a topographic map. So this scale is having more numbers, but this is example of like it is having a smaller scale than cadastral map scale, as we have already read that topographical maps are having small scale than cadastral. Topographic map is like it shows only natural and cultural features, and it does not show the boundary of individual agricultural land. These maps follow a standard system where there are symbols, signs, contours, color are mentioned in the map, and it shows the topographic information of the area. Next, we will learn about small scale maps. So, small scale maps refer to map on which object are relatively small, like where on a single paper you are representing whole world or a whole country. So you are representing a larger area on a single paper. That will fall under smaller scale map. Whenever you represent a smaller area like a village or city on a paper, then it will be considered as large scale map. So small scale maps refer to maps on which objects are relatively small. Like I said, the entire country, entire world will fall under smaller scale map. And small scale map is also subdivided into two parts, like wall map and atlas map. So what is wall map? So wall maps are usually drawn on a large size paper or plastic sheet. Like you have seen in your school, there are large poster size maps hanging on the wall. So that maps are known as wall maps. Wall maps are small and simple and used for many purposes. Like these are used in classrooms. This can help us to navigate highways, roads and locations situated at different places on Earth. With the help of these maps, we can identify any specific country, like where it is situated on a world map. The scale for these maps is smaller than those on topographical maps. So wall maps are having a very smaller scale map, because this is representing larger area. Next, we are having atlas maps. So these maps are generally drawn on a very small scale, because they also represent a larger area on smaller paper, and this provides highly generalized information of physical and cultural feature of different regions of the world. So the scale of atlas maps is more smaller than wall maps, because atlas maps are like a book where in a single book there are different maps available pages wise. So as paper size is lesser than wall map, and also the scale of atlas map is also smaller than wall map. Now we will learn about the map that is according to function. Based on function, there are two types of maps: physical natural maps and cultural maps. What is physical map? So physical maps are specially prepared to show natural features such as heavenly bodies, relief, soil, rock, vegetation, drainage, weather, climate. Whenever any natural feature of Earth is represented on a map, that's known as a physical map. So this physical map is subdivided into few types, like astronomical map, relief map, geological map, climate map, weather map, soil map and vegetation. What is astronomical map? Astronomical map is like these are prepared to show heavenly bodies like stars, galaxy or surface of the planet and the moon. Here at the left side you can see a sky map or astronomical map. So modern astronomical maps are based on a coordinate system similar to geographic latitude and longitude. These maps have both large and small scale. The next is relief map. So relief maps are drawn to show the actual relief and topography feature of the surface of Earth. Here at the left side you can see the relief map of the India, where in the map you can see that where the land is highly elevated in India and where there is a depth present. So this relief map also presents the mountains, valleys, plains, plateau, drainage, slopes and river system in the map. Next we have geological maps. So geological maps are prepared to show different types of rocks, minerals and geological structures. Like here in this map of Indian geological map, you can identify in which area which kind of geological features available in India. Then we have climatic map. So climatic map, there's different type of climatic zones in an area. So here in the left side, these colors like yellow, pink, light yellow, green, dark yellow, these colors are showing the different climatic zones of India. Just by seeing this legend, you can identify that which color is representing which climatic zone. Then next is weather maps. So weather maps are drawn to show the average condition of weather elements, like what is the temperature, pressure, rainfall, wind direction, velocity of wind in a specific area. So weather maps are for a shorter period. These maps are represented for day by day or for a single season. So this map here is representing a weather map. Then next is soil maps. So soil maps are showing the different soil types found in a region or continent. This map is showing a soil map where different kind of soil is represented in different colors. Then vegetation maps. So these maps are prepared to show the distribution of type of vegetation in any area, nation or whole earth. Map is showing the vegetation types in India. Different vegetation types represented in different colors. So based on function, our next type is cultural map. So what is cultural map? So cultural map are drawn to represent man-made features. Humans have used earth according to their requirement, and in this way many new structures such as buildings, canals, dams, rails and road networks are developed on the surface of earth. So when these features are represented on a map, they are known as a cultural map. So cultural maps are classified into few types like political maps, population maps, economic maps, transportation maps, agricultural maps, industrial maps, historical maps. So what is political map? These maps represent the boundaries between various political regions such as tehsil, district, states and countries. Like here on the left side, you can see the boundaries between different states. This is a political map of India. The next is population map. So these maps are drawn to show the distribution and density of population and related features such as growth rate, age, sex composition, religious distribution and here in the left side you can see the state-wise population in India, and also in the legend the differentiation between male and female population. Then next is economic map. What is economic map? So these maps depict the distribution and production of agricultural, mining and industrial products. In addition, economic map also shown the location of industries and market, trade routes, commercial centers. So like here you can see this commercial map of agriculture, like in which region of India what kind of agricultural products are growing. Then we have transportation maps. So these maps are drawn to show the network of road, railway lines, air and shipping routes. Here there is a map of Indian National Highway Network map where you can see the road connectivity in India. Then in agricultural map, we represent the production and distribution of different type of crops in any area, nation or whole world. So this economic map is also represented as an agricultural map. The next is industrial maps. So industrial maps are drawn to show the location of industrial hubs in a region, nation or continent. So here in this map, with the help of different point labels, it is shown that what major industries are there in India at which places. Then we have historical maps. So historical maps are drawn to show the past event, like how any area was earlier in history. Then whenever we talk about any map, so first important thing there is map scale, because with the help of map scale we are only able to draw the map proper. So what is scale? Scale helps us to reduce the whole or a portion of the earth to a size that is convenient and handy to represent a portion. Just because to make it handy and visually representable on a smaller area, maps are created with the help of map scale. Maps are scaled down so that on available paper. So relationship between distance on a map and distance on a ground is known as map scale. In other words, map scale can also be expressed as the ratio of distances between any 2 points on a map and the corresponding distance between the same 2 points on the ground. Like if there is a 1 kilometer or 1000 meter road on a ground and it is represented as a 1 meter road on a map paper. So the scale will be 1 is 1000. Because 1000 meter road is represented as 1 meter road. On this way we can represent a map scale. There are three different kind of representation of scale. First is statement of scale, second is graphical scale, and then representative fraction. What is statement of scale? Simplest method of scale representation. In this method, scale of a map is expressed in a written statement. Like we say that 1 centimeter equals to 10 kilometer. Like 1 centimeter on map is equal to 10 kilometers on the ground. So we write this as statement like 1 centimeter equals to 10 kilometers. When we write it as a statement, that is known as statement of scale. So the main demerit of this method is people who are not familiar with the used system of measurement, they will find it difficult to understand the unit. And when a map is reduced or enlarged, the statement of scale will change. Then we have a graphical scale kind of representation to deal with the demerits of statement of scale kind of representation. Next is the relationship between a distance on a map and the corresponding distance on the ground on the graphic scale. So graphical scale is known as a linear scale, bar scale or scale bar. In graphical scale, distance is shown graphically along a line. Primary and secondary divisions marked on it. Length of a segment of the line represents some distance on the earth. So like here in this image you can see the 0 in the middle. So from right of the 0, this will be primary division, and from this left of the 0, the secondary division for measurement. The advantage of this method is when a map is reduced or enlarged, scale will get proportionally reduced or enlarged. So this is a pro of this graphical scale. Then we have representative fraction. So representative fraction shows a relationship between map distance and the corresponding distance on the ground in unit of length. Like for example, if we have a representative fraction of 1:1000, it means 1 unit of measurement on a map represents 1000 units on the ground. Like the representative fraction on a map is always written with map distance, and as 1 is independent of any unit of measurement like yard, meter, inches, centimeter. So in representative fraction, they should be noted that of these should have the same unit. Like for example, if we are saying that representative fraction is 1:1000 and the map distance of 2 points, say from point A to point B is 5 centimeter, then ground distance is 5 into 1000, that will be equal to 5000 centimeters. So representative fraction is a versatile method and it can be used with any system of measurement. So these are 3 types of scale representation map. Then there are map elements that came into picture when we are preparing a map. So map elements are different elements that are present on the map to make the map visually appealing, visually representative. So the main types of map elements are shown in like figure, like title of the map, legend of the map, scale in the map, the north arrow in the map, the projection type that is used in this map, the date of publication in map, these neat lines in the map, and any of the map nodes. So these different items that are available on a map are known as map elements. So whenever you are making any standard kind of map, you will have to be ready for color representation for different features on map. Like here in this table, you can see that blue color. Blue color is used for representation of water bodies such as lake, swamp, rivers, drainage, reservoir, and oceans. Then we have black color in the map. So black color is used for representation of cultural features such as buildings, roads, railways, highways, bridges, place names, border surveyed, spot elevations, and all kind of label is represented in black color. Then white color, so areas that are mostly clear of trees, fields, like fields, plains, and sand flats, that is represented in white color. Then we have green color. So green color is used for representation of dense vegetation like areas covered by forests, woods, jungles, parks, golf course, forest, or orchid. These are represented in green color. Then brown color is used for representation of contour lines so that we can identify all relief features and elevations. In the red color. So red color classifies cultural features such as human habitat like villages, cities, main roads, and boundaries. So we will have to be very specific while choosing the colors for different features while map making. Then placement of features, name on map, like where the name of features will be placed on map. Like Imhoff in 1975 suggested 6 basic principles that should be taken into consideration before placing names on map. Like names should be easily readable and locatable. On map, names and objects to which it belongs should be easily recognizable. Like if you are labeling any point, so name should be near to this point so people really recognize that you are telling the name for this point. Name should not disturb other map contents as much as possible so that there is no overlapping and concealment of object name. If you are labeling different features and their name, so you should keep in mind this point that name should not overlap each other. Name should assist directly in revealing spatial situation, their territorial extent, connections, importance and differentiation of, and arrangement of name should reflect the classification and hierarchy of object on a map, and name should neither be evenly dispersed over the map nor be densely clustered. These are few rules we have to keep in mind while placing or label features name on the map. Then we have data representation by map. So whenever in GIS we create a map, we represent the data in three methods: by using points, by using lines and by using areas. So with using point, we represent small and localized places on a map like cities, villages, ports, towns, churches, mines, mountain peaks, historical sites, triangulation points. These are represented in a point feature. Then line data refer to spatial features that have linear or ribbon-like extent, like for river, road, railways, canals, street, ship routes. These are represented in line. Then area shows a region on a map like tehsil, district boundary, state boundary, country, lake, ocean or a bay. These are represented in area feature. And these are enclosed boundaries represented on a map. Then for all these features, point, line and area, we have few rules for their naming representation. So Ahn and Freeman in 1983 suggested certain rules for naming point, line and area features. So for point features, the rules are like label for a point feature should be horizontal. Like in this image you can see that there are in red, these are point features and their labels are in horizontal direction. Point feature label should not spread out, like these are concise, not spreading out. Point feature label should be close to the point feature to which it refers. Like you can see that each point is near to its label, and position of a point label may be somewhat above and to the right of the point, but other position in connection to the feature can also be considered. Then we have naming rule for line features. So in line features, label for line feature should conform to the curvature of line. Whenever you are labeling any line feature, you should follow the curvature of the line. Like here image is written, and if there are in complicated curvature, then you can avoid this one. Line feature label should not spread out, but it may be repeated at reasonable interval along the line. Like any line is long, so label should not be like it is spreading out over the whole length of the line. You can set a rule like the labels are concisely repeated at an interval over the whole length. And for horizontal line feature, the name should be placed above the line. And for vertical line feature, name to the left half line feature should be placed on the left side of the line to be read upward, and names of the right half line feature should be placed on the right side of the line to be read downward. And avoid placing a name near an end point of the line feature. Suppose if line is ending and this is end of the paper and map, so you should not have placed label at end of this line. And there are few naming rules for area features. For area features, the label for an area feature should span the entire area and conform for the general shape of the feature. So you should leave about 1 and 1/2 letter space at both ends. However, if there is no significant difference between this placement and the horizontal placement of an area name, preference should be given to the horizontal place. Non-horizontal place name should not be straight but curved. Like here is a non-horizontal feature, so this is not straight but written in curved manner. So arc should not be greater 3 degree. Name that reads away from the horizontal preferred over a name that reads towards horizontal. So you should always label the name that reads away from the horizontal. Then we will talk about some visual aspects of maps, like how map should be visibly represented. Once the geographic features and data are selected and classified for the compilation of map, it is important to choose appropriate symbol to represent them on the map. So a set of symbols that can be used to communicate information is called visual variables or visual aspects of map. So French cartographer Bertin in 1967 has given a comprehensive account of theories of visual aspects types of map and their uses. So visual variables include location in space, shape, size, orientation, hue and color value. And visual variables are the building blocks for map making. So for explaining it more, visual variables are two types, namely primary and secondary visual variables, where how point, line and polygon features visually represented on a map based on their size, based on their shape, based on their color and color value, color saturation and also orientation. These are called under primary visual variables. Then we have secondary visual variables, where point, line and area is represented based on their texture, orientation and arrangement. So if we talk about primary visual variable, their orientation. This provides a visual distinction best for vector fields like wind, gravity and magnetism. So this orientation feature is important whenever you represent any vector field like wind, gravity and magnetism. So map symbol by meteorologists to denote wind direction and speed. They use symbols which are having a combination of orientation and shape. Then we have size variable. Size reflects the unit value of the feature of interest. This is limited by the map reader's ability to estimate size difference. So wider lines for interstate highway, narrow lines for local state. Like a map, you have seen that national highways are represented in a wider line, local streets are represented in a smaller line. So where we represented these kind of features, then size variable have been used wisely so that you can easily differentiate between different kind of features. Then we have shape variable, like represented as a graphic mark. This can be regular geometric shape or irregular pictographic symbol like square, circle, triangles for regular shape, bridge or tree symbols for irregular shape. So whenever we are using any shape like triangle shape as a symbol in map for representing features, like plus symbol we use to represent hospital location, bridge symbol we use to representing bridge location, there the shape variable is used for features representation. Then we have color variables. This is the most important medium in map design so that we can create contrast and make the portrayal of data visually interesting. Like in a world map, we have already read that we have to choose colors wisely. Like green color we are using for representing forest, but within the color you have to wisely use their color value and hue. Like if we are representing only a forest map, so dense forest we represent in a darker green, open forest we represent in a lighter green color. There color variable is used. Then we have secondary visual variables, their texture. So the size and spacing of component elements that make up a pattern. Like in a geological map, we are representing the geological element, or soil map. There we have symbol, where in a symbol there are fine textures, coarse textures, symbols. So fine texture is used for representing the close spacing of small element, or coarse texture is used to representing a small open arrangement of larger element. There the texture variable is used in map. Then we have orientation. Whenever we have to represent any directional arrangement, there the orientation variable is used, like directional row of graph element. Then arrangement, so shape and configuration of component elements that make up a pattern, like systematic structure of point or line pattern, that falls under arrangement secondary visual variable. So we have learned about the how to perfectly place labels on point, line and polygon feature, how to wisely choose symbols, how to choose colors. In this we will prepare a proper map with different map elements and compare different map layouts. So what is map layout? Map layout is basically plan or design in which a map is drawn. It can be portrait, it can be land. Map layouts are very important in creating good composition and visual balance of map. So while creating map layout, we have to keep in mind these 5 basic principles. Like we should understand the concept and the requirement of the person who would be using this map, so that you can get an idea that how to display data on the map and which map element should be included based on the person's need. And also you should understand the hierarchy with harmony. It means the kind of interrelationship between various elements on the map. So this emphasis should be given according to the level of importance of the element on map. Based on that, we will prioritize the element. Associative features must be given in associative per harmony of features leads to a neutral bloom in a map. And readers can gain maximum information from map at a glance with minimum cost and time. When a map is prepared properly while keeping the different points in mind. So your map layout should be designed to engage attention to its reader. This can be done by taking into account how the readers would like to visualize the information in the map. Map layout consists of map elements, balance and focus of attention. So what is map element? So we have already learnt about the map element: title, the border line, the legend, the scale, the north arrow, the map placement. So how you are placing these map elements properly and evenly on a map. So these map elements plays a role in map layout making. Then we have balance. So when you place these different map elements, there should be balance. Like in the first three images, you can see an unbalanced layout. How these have been placed unevenly, irregularly, and in this final layout, you can see this is a balanced layout. Every element is placed properly and evenly. There should be a balance in a map layout. And you also have to keep your main feature placement. Like in this ABC, you can see that here the map is shifted towards this northwest direction. Here the map is shifted towards the northeast direction. Here the map is shifted towards west direction. And this final layout, the map is properly placed in center. So your map should be properly placed into center while creating a map layout. Then again, an important point you should keep in mind while making a layout is focus of attention. Whenever we talk about focus of attention, optical and geometric centers of an image came up here. So balancing can be achieved around the optical center. So what is optical center? Where these two lines intersect in a map. That is geometric center, and above geometric center, this is optical center. And whenever a map reader sees the map, eye movement move from this direction, this northwest direction, to southeast direction. So keeping this point in mind, how will be the direction of eye movement of a reader, you should place the map element. So this was all about the map layout making. So how can you prepare a proper map? So we have almost completed this lecture. Now we'll summarize this lecture, that what we have learned from this lecture. So we talked about what is map. So maps are basically a graphical representation of Earth's surface. There are three methods of scale representation: statement of scale, graphical scale and representative fraction. Maps are classified into large scale, small scale map, physical and cultural map. And we also got to know that maps are used by number of audience. So certain map elements comprising title, legend, scale, orientation, arrow, credit, latitude, longitude, these have been used by cartographers to communicate geographical information. So for better understanding of features, cartographers also use a combination of colors and visual variables like shape, size, orientation, color value and pattern to represent spatial information on map. We also learned about the different elements positioning on a map, and also how to properly place a feature name. We also see that how a map can be saved as a good map, bad map, based on balance in map elements, and also keeping in mind the focus of attention points. This was all about this lecture. I hope you understood all my points from this lecture about understanding maps. If you are having any query regarding this lecture, please let me know in the comment section. Thank you very much.